Okay, let's find out why you can't pistol squat. So I'm gonna set this up. I'm gonna have a piece of wood and I'm gonna have a couple of plates. So I'm making an incline or a decline, whatever you wanna call it. I'm gonna stick my foot on the plates, so the ball of the foot is lower than the heel. I'm gonna step one leg out in front, and then I'm just gonna see if I can hold this position. So that's test number one. Can you hold the bottom of the pistol squat? If it's impossible, we could try raising this up even higher. So a bigger weight plate, do exactly the same thing. Go into that position, see if you can hold your foot out there. Can you hold there for time comfortably? If you still struggle there, we're probably lacking flexibility, but let's just add in counterbalance as well. So I'm gonna hold onto the weight plate, go into that same position. Now the weight plate is counterbalancing me if my hips are too far back that direction. So that bottom position test is just to see whether we've got enough flexibility to hold there without falling backward. Now if we pass that test, we next need to do an eccentric. So we wanna set up exactly the same as when we was doing the hold. Place the foot on top of there, but now I'm going to start in a standing position. Now my goal now is to slowly lower, taking the weight forwards with the hands and the leg, and finish in that bottom position we was just holding. So can I move down that route slowly to this position and hold for time? Oh, and I recommend that you're doing this test on both legs as well. So my right ankle is much tighter than my left, but I can come down and show that same control at the bottom on both sides. But it's common to have a big balance left to right, so you might need a different setup for one side than the other in terms of mobility. Now if you pass that test and you can go all the way down, hold the bottom with control, then the next one is to do exactly the same thing, but don't hold the bottom, and just see if you have the strength to come back up again. So my left side feels weak compared to my right, but I can get all the way down, hold, and come back up again. Now, if you got stuck on that eccentric where you could hold the bottom position, but you couldn't go all the way down with control, and or you can't get back up on the concentric, I would first keep everything exactly the same, but just add a counterweight. Now, most people will only need around 2 to 5 kilos. This is 2 kilos. I'm just gonna hold it out in front of me, come down, see if I can get back up. Same thing with the other side. Now, interestingly, even though I'm adding a weight, this makes the movement actually easier because it's pushing me in that way, or pulling me in that way, helping me to get back. Because normally when we fail the pistol squat, we fall back in that direction. Now, if you can do the full movement, if you can come all the way down and back up again with the raised heel, you can just work repetitions of that and then slowly decrease the height. I'd also recommend that you're doing some mobility work. So the mobility work for most people is going to be a case of trying to get this knee past the toe, so going in this direction. So a good one is just going into this fisherman squat position, bringing back the foot in this position where the heel's lifted and I'm more onto the ball of the foot, and I'm just going to hang out there, bouncing up and down. Now, because this is quite low intensity, you need to do a lot of bouncing, but it's a nice one that you could do on a daily basis while you're watching TV. You could do it elevated, so up in that position. You could be a bit more intense and use a weight plate or a kettlebell on the knee. So I'm trying to drive the heel down while bringing the knee forwards. And you could do deep lunges where you're just driving the knee as far forwards as you can while keeping the heel back and down. For the hip mobility, you've got your general pigeon stretching. So either raised up on a box, you could go in a 90-90 position on the floor. So in this direction, coming down. So for the strength aspect, you could work those slow eccentrics all the way down to your bottom position, or you could work with partial range of motion. So I've got a step and I've got a heel lift still. So I'm in that position, and then I'm going to sit down to the step as a target, and then get back up from there, and then I can just decrease or increase the height. I could do standard 2-legged squatting patterns and just build up that 2-legged foundation squat strength first. Step ups are also great. Just make sure that you're going straight up when you do the movement. So I could do a dynamic version like this. I could do a stricter version when I start at the top, slowly come down to a target and then come back up again. I could do more of a split squat. And then just over time, you decrease the amount of help that you're going to get from the heel lift, going lower and lower, making sure you can get it on both sides. So you can get rid of it completely on the eccentric and on the concentric. But from that initial assessment, you should be able to work out whether the mobility, the strength, or just the setup is what's stopping you, and then target your training around those elements. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions. Reach out if you like coaching. I'll speak to you in the next one.